This is Steve Nijjar, and you are watching The Game Plan.
Hey everybody, this is Giancarlo Aulino reporting for The Game Plan, and I'm happy to be joined by my guest today who's making his return here to the program. He is one of the members of Racing Madrid's ownership group. He is Steve Nijjar. How you doing, Steve?
Hey, Giancarlo, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. And Steve, it's an exciting time for your team. Your club there in Spain has been having a lot of success this season, continuing that progression there in the league. Can you just talk to us a little bit of how the season has gone for your club, and what have you noticed has been the biggest takeaway from this year?
Well, the season's been going really well. Can't complain. We've been in first place for quite a while. We're 9 points from the third place right now, so 3 games in hand. What happened this year was we finally got a good team. I mean, the first year we really couldn't. It was our first year, right? Second year we were still trying to figure things out. And when we figured things out, we, sporting director and everybody else did a great job on bringing the players in, and people found out who we are, what we do, and how we treat players in Madrid, and they all wanted to come and play for us. And the ones that left end of the second season, they are regretting that they shouldn't have left. They wanted to come back as well. I said, doors are, once you leave, you're gone. And
just this season, like you mentioned, they're 9 points. They're clear of third. So have you noticed like a shift in mentality a little bit from your players? Because being 9 points clear just shows the success you're having, or has it been one of those things where you still have to look out because those teams can still creep up?
Man, it's not over until it's over. It's not over until we got 8 games left. We're not putting anything past anybody. The second last place or the teams at the bottom of half the table are the worst teams to play with. We lost one of our first games, I think we lost our second game of the season. Or second, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, to half a team from halfway in the less than half in the standings. They play dirty. There's a lot of stuff going on in there. Racism and calling names and all that. So they did whatever they did to put us off the game, and we ended up losing. That's fine. Losing is part of the whole process. But it's not over until it's over, man. 8 games to go, and we're not celebrating nothing yet. Every game's a tough game.
And how would you best describe this league and in terms of the pyramid structure? Because there was maybe a disconnect, or it's tough to kind of explain their pyramid system in Spain because many are familiar with even the MLS structure of conference play, but the pyramid system in Spain where Racing Madrid is playing right now, what would be the next step if you come first place in the league and move on?
Us winning the league, first or second place, it gets us promoted to Tercera. Which actually Tercera is third, but it's really not third. It's actually fifth. It used to be fourth. What they did was, as I explained it before, they took the fourth division, they cut it in half, and they made another division out of it, which hurt our club. So really, if that didn't happen, we'd be going to the fourth division. And then we would only have fourth, third, and second, 4 more to go until we hit La Liga.
So now this makes it an extra year in terms of like progressing to that next level, or is it because they split it up? Is there like a conference play and like another tournament that the top 2 teams from those get to move up an extra division?
No, top 2 teams move up. From our division, when we go to Tercera, the top first moves up, the first place moves up, then the second, third, fourth, and fifth, they play for playoffs. So the 2 teams do go up, but you got to play for playoffs. It's not automatic top 2 go up.
And do you prefer that? I know as an owner, you want to get to that next level, but do you prefer for competitiveness that playoff, or do you think once you're that merit of topping the league, you should get that promotion?
I think you should get that promotion. The top 2 teams should get that promotion. In my opinion, what they should do is the third place team could go for a playoff. So as I said, the top 2 should go through to the next division. The third play for a playoff. So that's just But unfortunately, that's just my thought. It ain't happening.
And has there been just a local fan base? I know you're in Madrid, and that's tough when you see Real Madrid there, Atletico. So have you seen maybe like the local community rallying around your club?
Not at all. Fuck, man, we need fans. But then again, quite honestly, we're still trying to get established in a community. So getting fan base right now hasn't been my top priority. We will have fans. It's nothing negative. We know they'll come. We know people are talking about us. People hear about us. People know of us. But I'll tell you, when we're playing the other teams at home, they bring a lot of fans because they know it's going to be a tough game. So that's a plus because people fear us right now. But as soon as we get our home, we're going to have a fan base. And let the cat out of the bag. Right now, I think we'll be the only club in Tercera or even lower divisions. We're looking at an affiliation with a La Liga club. That would be huge. So that means we could have their reserve team players come and play with us, and if there's anyone good, we can move them up to their reserve team. So what a great relationship that would be for me to my partners to announce that Racing Madrid now is officially affiliated with a La Liga club for player movement.
That's great. And in terms of affiliation, for those that aren't too aware with it, would that require them to be like part of the ownership group, or is that just like a partnership type of thing?
That's just a partnership type of thing. Two clubs, president, we make an agreement and we sign off on it and we announce it. And then obviously the federation knows, so the player movement and so forth makes it easier for us.
That's great. And just in terms of just the health of the league, because you're mentioning that like fans will come, but when you go to some of these other smaller clubs in and around Spain that don't have the historic name recognition that Racing Madrid has, what has been your takeaway from just seeing how some of those communities and some of those smaller clubs are able to maybe generate interest in their own club throughout the year?
Well, listen, when a club has been in a community for a long time, they generate a lot of interest. I don't remember the name of the club, actually. It's I know the gentleman. It's a Mexican gentleman who owns it, and it's in Tercera, north of Spain. I believe one of the games that they had 15,000 or 14,000 people.
Wow.
Right? So it's there. Right, fan bases are there. It needs to be developed, but coming from as a Canadian coming into Spain, I noticed Spanish owners, presidents, they only worry about the team. I come in as in, wait a minute here. This is a business, and we need to make sure that it's running like, even though we're lower division clubs, we need to make sure that we're running it like that. Everybody has a department, and again, everything goes back to us getting a home, and we're pretty close to it right now.
That's great. And just mentioning they're your partners. One of them, a lot of Canadians know, Russell Peters, Canadian legend in comedy. Did you think that he would ever come around where he'd be involved and invested in a soccer club?
Listen, in life, you don't know what's going to happen. You really don't know what's going to happen. And who's going to be coming around the corner to lift you up, take you to the mountaintop, or you turn around the corner and they knock you out because you're not expecting it. You just don't know. I had no idea. But everything that's happened it's been absolutely amazing with Russell and I and the club. He's very, very busy. He hardly has any time to even talk to us because he's so busy right now touring the world, which we're so happy for him.
That's great. And just wanted to also get your thoughts on the growth of the sport in Canada, because now with the World Cup and Copa America, the success they had there, Canada maybe getting more interest in the soccer community. From your perspective, someone being in Spain and seeing what's going on in Canada, what are your thoughts on what's been going around with Canada soccer?
Listen, it's all been positive since Jesse Marsch took over. And one of the things that people got to realize with Jesse, in my opinion, and people can disagree with me, and football is based on opinions. I think he's done an absolutely great job, but I think one of the biggest thing that Jesse does is he brought that energy. He brought that enthusiasm. He brought that, I'm going to make a difference. He brought that, I'm going to make people fall in love with these players. And because he brought all that, there's so many players now internationally who are saying, hey, I want to play for Canada, right? Even though, as you know, my son is playing in Rayo Vallecano, U16 in the academy. He represents Guyana, right? So I think once you move up there, everybody wants to come. But listen, it all depends on the players and what they want to do. I think Canada Soccer. I think Jesse Marsch has done a great job, personally, and hopefully keeps it going. Being a Canadian, we're behind our team, and we want to see nothing but success come out of it. But that's just the national team. I think everybody gets excited about the national team, and then I'm excited about it. Don't get me wrong, but I really don't care about that as much. And I'll tell you the reasoning behind it, because national team regroups every X amount of times in a year to play exhibition games. But what we as Canadians really got to do is we got to pay attention to our league here in Canada. So we're developing these players. We get a CPL, for example. I'm the biggest fan of the league. I support it. I push it. I talk about it. Because unless we're getting fans in the seats, this league is going to fold. As an owner, I know what I'm talking about, right? And I think outside of the Canadian soccer, I think we need to pay attention to CPL more than any other league. Yeah, fine. We got TFC, Montreal, and Vancouver. Yeah, okay, whatever. That's fine. They're good. They're giants. I support TFC. TFC fan. But I think CPL is what we need to support. CPL is what needs to get their roots deep. And that can only happen, as we were talking about fan support, when a team can get 5,000-10,000 people per game. That's what I'm really hoping it happens with CPL. And on another note, you see the players making a difference internationally now, right? And I've said it before, I'll say it again. We got, let's say, around 240 pro players in Canada in CPL, right? Compared to what do we got in the MLS with 3 teams. Look at the difference. So, guys, whoever's listening, let's go out and support the CPL. But on the other hand, CPL's got to do a better job in marketing, and then the club's got to get a better job in marketing. It's not all about on-field. On-field is what we all work towards, but it's off-field that makes the club successful on-field, my personal opinion.
I agree with you there. And you mentioned your son also going through the ranks there in Rayo Vallecano. What's it like for you splitting time? Because obviously you're an owner running your own club, but your son's with another club there in Spain. So what's it been like for you splitting time between your club and watching your son's progression?
Not a problem at all, because he trains in the morning with his team. Then he trains in the evening with his team. Then once I drop him off, I go straight to Racing Madrid. We're blessed. Me and my wife, we're living a dream that many parents wish they could have. It's been absolutely fabulous doing it. Not an issue. He's working hard, and it's so funny. I think we were talking about it. Any player, they say this shit over here, right? They end up doing amazing over there, right? These fucking numbnuts here, all they do is he's shit, he's that. They're fucking idiots, some of these coaches. I'm telling you that. They're fucking morons, right? One thing you don't fucking ever do is saying that player is never going to make it somewhere, because that's the player that will make it and make you look like an idiot. And I think the coaching mentality has to start changing of, oh, I want to win this. Well, along the winning, you got to start developing players, right? It's like, I don't know how to say this, but, and my son's not the first one and the last one. It's happened so many times to so many other players, right? So there's a lot of racism in the game here, bro. There's a lot of bias here in the game. I'm brown. I'm Indian. I said it before, and I'll challenge anybody in this country. There's a lot of racism, right? Because Indians, Punjabis are not supposed to play soccer. It's just bias. Oh, you're supposed to be Uber driver. Oh, you're, the truck drivers, this, that, and we stick to cricket or we stick to this. And same thing with Chinese. Aren't you supposed to have a calculator in front of you and then be a doctor, engineer, or something? And our kids supposed to be lawyers or Middle Eastern kids. But do you see where I'm going with this? Yeah. Right? Because it's been so long that they don't want to break out of the bubble. And I'm telling you, I'm not wrong at what I'm saying. People might get offended. If they get offended, go fuck yourself. But really, right? I'm sorry to be like this because this is what I see. This is what's happening here. And people don't want to realize that because there's so much bloody talent in Canada. Because we become biased, we overlook that talent.
And even the perception of some of those players that end up moving on, like you mentioned, did you see a situation maybe where your son was overlooked at youth levels in Canada and maybe like another coach saw him? Yeah.
Every aspect he was overlooked. Every team, every game, they didn't believe in him. And I knew he was shorter in size as a goalkeeper. I knew that. But I also knew what he had, his base. And that's what we worked on. That's what his goalkeeping coaches worked on. And that's okay. But what hurts any parents is when a coach at the pro teams will turn around and say it behind his back and it gets to you. If that kid ever makes it pro, I'll sell my house. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad attitude of a coach, right? So I'm not only talking about my son, I'm talking about any player. My son just happened to be one of those players that ended up in Spain and still there. And he works hard. And remember, soccer is not about talent anymore. Soccer is about dedication, discipline, working hard, outworking everybody, what you do off the field, what you're doing after training, before training, your sleep, your eating, your mentality as a whole individual, as an athlete. Coaches, oh my God, he's good. I want him on my team. Okay, well, did you take a look at all that? I'm just talking about European, Spanish to here. That's all. That's just my perception of what's out there. What I experience every single day, what I see, what we live through, right? So we have a lot of changing to do in our country, right? So going back on bias. So when my son got signed in Rayo, I sent the information to the club in Vaughan. Hey, this kid played for you. He got signed. Do you think they would share it? They didn't even share it. So how do you think? What do you think? Now, if another kid of another ethnicity goes, it's everywhere.
Yeah, published all around. And
yeah, these are the facts. I'm telling you, as a father, I'm talking now, not as an owner or a business person.
Yeah, and that just even like the bias there, like when you see these campaigns then come out and them saying like these video campaigns of other leagues coming around about racism being out of the game or try to bring it out of the game. Do you think it's like counterproductive when it's going on still at youth level?
Well, it's racism at youth level are different ways. Our last game that we played that we lost, if anybody goes to Racing Madrid, you'll see posts about racism because our players, I have African origin players, they were being called names, right? If I was there as a president, maybe they would have called me something too, right? These are fans, and the players also called them names, and they were spitting on them, right? So it needs to be taken care all across the board. But when I'm talking about our country here, I think it's just taking a look at a kid thinking, he doesn't have what it takes. How do you know? How did anybody think Andy Ruiz could knock out, who did he knock out? The British boxer when he won the World Heavyweight Championship.
So
Can't think of his Joshua Anthony. Did anybody look at Anthony Ruiz, Ruiz, and think he could become a world champ? No, right?
No.
So how does a coach turn around, just looks at a player in one session and say, he doesn't got it? You can't do that. You have to have an open mind. You have to take a look at the bad, take a look at the good, and see how you can develop that kid into becoming great.
Yeah.
Everybody might disagree with me, but that's my perception that I see, and I always like to go in with a positive outlook.
And your son now at Rayo Vallecano, what's a season like for him been right now as he's learning under some of the greats there, some of the veterans on the team?
He's their last games, I believe, first week of June. Listen, you don't know what's going to happen. He just finished playing in the qualifiers of the World Cup, U17 for Guyana, as I said. He did absolutely amazing. The team did absolutely amazing, broke all records that the country never had before. Then someone from CPL, one of the teams, noticed him because one of their Trinidadian kids was playing on the team. And it says, that goalkeeper really impressed me, right? Not knowing he was Canadian.
So do you think that will lead to, like, those kind of performances will lead to maybe like a CPL team looking to sign him and bring him to CPL?
I don't think he wants to, or we want him to come back to CPL right now, or unless it was a loan or something. But absolutely, everything is possible in this game. Every single thing is, and that's why I tell you cannot disregard any player. That player that's been riding the bench, and goes on and scores one of the best goals ever and wins the game. We've seen it over and over again. So my theory is, hey, give everybody an opportunity. But everything's possible for my son, right? But he's there. His life is there at Rayo, and Rayo is his club. They've signed him. And whatever they decide, his agents decide, I leave it to them. I stay out of it.
That's great. And just want to transition a little bit. Just talked about some of the stuff you got going on as an owner, because I've seen on Instagram you having all these posts there with some legends of the game, some Italian soccer legends. Is there anybody that you were starstruck just interacting with and picking their brain?
Bro, when you're me, I am a star. They should be starstruck, not me. No, yeah. I'm just messing with you. I never get starstruck. You know why? Because as you know, my main business is security.
Yeah,
I bodyguarded the biggest Hollywood stars that anyone could imagine being in the same room with them, or even in the same street, or say hi to them. So I don't get starstruck. I never did, never will. But I've been so blessed to have rub shoulders, have dinners, have drinks with these superstars and legends of the game. And it's just being around them, just talking, small talk. I remember Karagunas, who scored the winning goals for Greece in the Euros, right? I mean, we become very close friends. Right. Wow. So that's just one. Then you've got all the other Italian legends I've got a chance to meet. And when I see them again, they recognize me, and we have a great conversation through the translator.
Like, how do those come about? Like, in terms of like getting them all together?
My partner does that. As you know, my partner is one of the top agents out there, agencies. Who doesn't he know? So he's the one that gets asked to put these events together, and some of them I go to, some of them I can't. When I do, it's a pleasure to be around those players. These are some of the players I grew up watching. I've seen them, so it's like you more than anything, what I learn is their mentality in life, how they are, how they carry themselves, how they think.
Was there anything that surprised you, like in just when you hear their mentality, or maybe like something that you were curious about and learning from watching their career progress? Was there something that surprised you?
Nothing surprises me because they're at a different level. And when I said they're at a different level, it goes back to what I said about 10, 15 minutes ago. I think it was, is just their discipline, what they did off the field, on the field, behind the scenes. They sacrificed, they played injured. This is what their dream was. Some of them couldn't afford food. They couldn't afford uniforms. They couldn't afford all those things, right? Made them become that champion, that legend that they are today, right? And this is what I tell my son, and he follows that to a T. I tell that to other players, and these are the players that when you did the shuttle runs, they actually went and touched the line. They went over the line, come back, where some of the players, I'm sure what they were growing up playing with, they just went to the line, didn't even touch it. It's those little things that their mentality is just different, and they're hungry. They're hungry like a wolf that hasn't eaten in a month.
And it showed what they were able to achieve throughout their career as well there. And before we wrap up, Steve, and let you go, how can our viewers here and listeners at the Game Plan stay up to date with everything you're doing, what everything Racing Madrid is doing, and keep in touch with you on social media?
Giancarlo, first I want to say thank you again. I know I'm pretty open-minded and I say what I'm thinking, and then that's always going to be the case. So if I offended anybody, that, you know, it's not mean to offend anybody, but I'm talking from what my perspective is as a Canadian Punjabi guy living in Spain, running a club who has son playing there, what I see the difference, right? So, and football is based on opinions, and no one's opinion is wrong. You know, you might see number 6, but I'll see number 9, right? So having said that, I would love for my Canadian brothers and sisters and from every ethnicity to start following my journey at Racing Madrid 1914 on Instagram, or they can start following my personal journey on Steve_Nijjar official. And at the end, this is a journey, man. It's a journey of ups and downs, more downs sometimes than it is ups. Now us having a conversation, people say, oh my God, doing this, but they don't see the work and then the heartbreaks that we sort of go through behind the scenes. But I want to thank you for always giving me the time. And you're the first one to call my PR guys, hey, I want to do an interview. So thank you.
Appreciate that. And I appreciate you sharing your time and coming on here to talk all about this exciting season. And I wish you all the best there with your club and Racing Madrid.
Thank you. And also, I want to put it out there. Listen, if there's any coaches out there that want to see how it is in Spain, or any players that want to come in and train under our umbrella there, just reach out to us, because one of the things that we don't really focus on here is a lot of coaching education, right? If they are, it's just sit down, do this. But if anybody wants that, let us know. I'm here to help soccer grow in the right way in the country that I absolutely love. And it's my home, Canada.